Hello everyone, this is Akshay and welcome to my YouTube channel Biology Brain. And today we're going to discuss about the blood. Blood means खून. खून तो सबने देखा ही होगा, जैसे कि कभी ना कभी सबके चोट लगती है और खून की नदियां बहती हैं. तो in this video we're going to discuss all about the blood. What is blood? Its components. What are the functions of the blood? And what's the role of heart in the circulation of the blood in our body? It's all covered in this video. As the blood has too many functions in our body, but the main function is transportation of various things. First is the transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let's discuss how oxygen and carbon dioxide are transported. As we breathe in, oxygen is delivered to the lungs. Oxygen is delivered to the lungs, and the lungs pass out this oxygen to the blood. The blood passes this oxygen to the tissue for energy purpose and uses. ये कुछ ऐसा ही है जैसे कि एक इंजन को पेट्रोल मिले और उसको वर्किंग स्टार्ट होए, तो उसके बाद वो वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स में धुआं एलिमिनेट करता है. तो ऐसे ही है, जब टिश्यू ने ऑक्सीजन यूज की फॉर एनर्जी पर्पस, तो टिश्यू ने वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट में CO2 निकाली जो कि गई ब्लड के पास. ब्लड ने वापस इसको दिया lungs को to eliminate it outside. And the second function in the transportation is a nutrient transportation. How the nutrients are transported? As we intake food, the food has nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, and the vitamins, etc. and etc. These all are digested by our stomach and absorbed in intestine. These absorbed nutrients goes to the blood, and the blood transport these nutrients to the various tissues in our body. These nutrients are used in overall growth of our body. And after all that, the third function in transportation of the blood is in the waste product. As we know, the waste products are very harmful to our body, and these are needed to be eliminated from the body. Waste products like urea. Urea is formed in liver, and this urea is poured in blood, and after filtration this blood is filtered by kidney, and this kidney eliminate the urea outside the body through urine. And after this, the fourth use of the blood in transportation is the transportation of the drugs and the hormones. The drugs has too many types like oral pills or injections. Let's take an example. जैसे कि headache है, headache में oral pills लेते हैं. Oral pill is absorbed in stomach and absorbed and goes to the blood. As the blood circulates, it reaches to the head, where the drug has its target area of use of its function. The drug transportation is there, and after this, the hormones. Hormones are secreted by endocrine glands in the blood for various purposes. The pituitary gland pours its growth hormone into the blood for the overall growth of the body. And after that, the transportation of antibodies. Antibodies is a part of our immune system which fight against our diseases like bacteria, viruses, and inflammation. These are needed to be transported at the area of inflammation where they act and perform their functions. After that, the clotting. The clotting is not the function of transportation, but the main function of the blood. हमें चोट लगे तो बहुत सारा ब्लड लॉस हो जाता है और एक्सेसिव ब्लड लॉस के कारण डेथ हो सकती है. सो इसको प्रिवेंट करने के लिए ब्लड खुद को एट द पॉइंट ऑफ कट क्लोट करता है ताकि एक्सेसिव ब्लड को रोक सके और इसकी वॉल्यूम को मेंटेन कर सके. ब्लड जैसा कि देखा है रेड कलर का होता है, बट क्या हर ऑर्गेनिज्म में ब्लड रेड कलर का होता है? ऐसा नहीं है. ह्यूमंस में जो रेड कलर है ब्लड का वो होता है हीमोग्लोबिन के कारण. हीमोग्लोबिन में आयरन होता है, जिसके कारण ह्यूमंस में और मैनी ऑर्गेनिजम्स में ब्लड का कलर रेड है. बट ऐसा कुछ इंसेक्ट्स हैं जैसे प्रॉन्स हैं इंसेक्ट्स जिसमें ब्लू ब्लड पाया जाता है. उनमें हीमोग्लोबिन के अलावा हीमोसाइनिन पाया जाता है, जिसमें आयरन की जगह पे कॉपर होता है, जिसके कारण इनमें ब्लू ब्लड पाया जाता है. So the blood in our body is found in arteries and the veins. Arteries carries the oxygenated blood, whereas the veins contains deoxygenated blood. Heart. The role of heart in the blood. Heart act as a pumping organ which circulates the blood to all over the body. The pH. The pH of the blood is 7.4, which is slightly alkaline in nature. Volume. The volume of the blood in all over the blood in male is 5 to 6 liters, whereas in females it's little bit lower, 4 to 5 liters. This contains 6 to 8% of body weight. Blood and its components. As we all saw, the blood is in a liquid state, which is seen by our eyes, but it's not all that. It has some liquid portion and the solid portion. It has two components, plasma and the formed elements. Plasma consists of 55%, which is a liquid portion, and the formed elements is a 45%, which is a solid portion of the blood. Formed elements consist of RBC, red blood cells, WBC, white blood cells, and the platelets. The plasma has a 92% water in it, and 6 to 8% proteins has first is fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is used in clotting purposes. And the second is a globulin. Globulins. These are the proteins used in the immune systems, antibodies, etc. And the third one is albumin. Albumins are used in osmotic balance. Osmotic balance as like the electrolytes are balanced in our body. So after all that, it has some electrolytes. Electrolytes are in the plasma like sodium, calcium, magnesium, and the carbonates. And glucose and amino acids, such amino acids. All these are the part of a plasma which consists of 55% of the blood, which is a lipid portion, and the solid portions are these. And let's discuss about RBC. So RBC. RBCs are red blood cells, also known as erythrocytes. They have a lifespan of 120 days. As these are non-dividing cells, these are regularly to be formed. These cells are formed in the bone marrow of the bones. Bone marrow is found in spongy bones categories है. तो स्पॉन्जी बोन्स के अंदर होते हैं. Red RBCs are formed in there. After 120 days, as they got older, these are destructed in spleen. Spleen is a small organ adjacent to our stomach. This is also known as a graveyard of the blood. And it is also known as the blood bank of body, as because it stores excess blood which is used in emergency purposes, like an accident. When a person meets an accident, it delivers a lot of blood to the body, which will supply to the body for its purposes. And after that, the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is an iron-containing protein, and the iron is present in +2 state. This is very important. And let's say this is an RBC. Hemoglobin contains maximum of the space of the RBC. As because the main function of hemoglobin is oxygen transportation, the maximum surface of RBC is occupied. So its shape is biconcave. RBC is biconcave shape like this. This shape because it has to deliver oxygen, so it provides the maximum surface of the attachment of the oxygen. And nucleus of RBC is absent, as because the maximum area is occupied by hemoglobin. So these are non-dividing cells, as the nucleus is absent. Hemoglobin in a normal person, 12 to 16 gram per 100 ml of the blood. And one hemoglobin protein transports the 4 molecules of the oxygen. And as 100 ml of the blood contains 5 ml of oxygen. as the hemoglobin protein has two polypeptide chains. The adult hemoglobin has 2 alpha and 2 beta, whereas the infant or the fetal hemoglobin has 2 alpha and 2 gamma. The fetal hemoglobin needs more oxygen to be transported as the fetal body has more growth. So it has a gamma polypeptide chains instead of the beta. So the oxygen carrying capacity of the fetal hemoglobin is more than the adult hemoglobin. And after that, vitamin B12 is necessary for the maturation of RBC after it is released from the bone marrow. There is a link. Vitamin B12, parietal cells या फिर oxantic cell of the stomach releases costly intrinsic factors which absorbs vitamin B12, which enhances the maturation of RBC. This question is has indirect link which is asked in NEET. After this erythropoiesis, the term erythropoiesis is the formation of RBC in the body, and for the formation of the RBC in the body, a hormone works named as erythropoietin. Erythropoietin hormone, this is secreted by kidney, and there are various erythropoietic organs in the fetal. The first RBC is formed by yolk sac, and after embryonic stage, the various organs work in RBC production like spleen, liver, and placenta. In adult, after parturition, RBC is produced in bone marrow. And the volume of RBC. The volume of RBC is 5 millions. 5 millions of RBCs are in per millimeter cube of blood. So WBC, white blood cells are also known as leukocytes. These are colorless cells as the hemoglobin pigment is absent in them. White blood cells are categorized in two different categories on the basis of nucleus and cytoplasm of their cells. These are categorized as granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocyte cells has their nucleus is multi-lobed, and cytoplasm has granules. Whereas the agranulocyte cells, their nucleus is not lobulated, and the cytoplasm is clear. As these lobulated lobules are interconnected as seen in these cells. So, on the basis of dyes, these cells are categorized in three parts: acidophils, basophils, and neutrophils. Acidophils are dye with acid dye, and basophils are dyed by basic dyes, and the neutrophils can be dyes by any dye. So, acidophils are bilobule nucleus. These are interconnected, and acidophil cells have affect the allergy and the parasitic infections. These are used in there. this is the acidophil cells, binucleated granule cells. After this is the basophils. Basophils has 3 lobes in the nucleus. These are as categorized as a S-shaped nucleus. Basophil cells secrete 3 types: heparin, serotonin, and the histamine. Heparin is a substance which prevent the clotting of the blood inside our body. And the serotonin is a substance which controls our feeling and mainly depression. And the histamine controls our allergy and inflammation processes, is controlled by histamine, which is released by the basophil cells. And after that, the neutrophil cells. The neutrophil cells has 3 to 5 lobes which are interconnected, and these cells are phagocytic in nature. Phagocytic means they eat the virus and the bacteria which are present in our blood, which are gonna infect. So this is that. And after that, agranulocytes. Agranulocyte cells has 2 parts: the monocytes and the lymphocytes. Monocyte cells has a kidney or bean-shaped nucleus, as seen in that. These are called as scavengers. Scavengers means they clear the blood. Damaged RBCs are eaten by these monocytes. Lymphocytes are of 2 types: B and the T lymphocytes. These are included in immunity and the antibody formation. Antibodies are formed which help the body to fight against the diseases caused by the bacteria and the viruses. And after that, the एक term है TLC. Total leukocyte count. It has both granulocyte and agranulocyte. Total leukocyte count है. ये डिजीजेस पता करने में काम आता है. अगर इसका काउंट नॉर्मल से ज्यादा है, नॉर्मल से थोड़ा सा ज्यादा है, तो इसका मतलब है बॉडी में कोई वायरल या फिर बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन हो चुका है. वायरल या फिर बैक्टीरियल. अगर इसका काउंट कम है तो बॉडी में कोई ऐसी डिजीज है जो कि इम्यूनिटी सेल्स को कम कर रही है, जैसे कि टाइफाइड या फिर एड्स. और इसके अलावा अगर टीएलसी का काउंट एकदम से इंक्रीज हो गया तो इसको कहते हैं ल्यूकेमिया. ल्यूकेमिया इज नोन एज ब्लड कैंसर. सो टीएलसी काउंट कितना है बॉडी के अंदर? टीएलसी काउंट है 6000 to 8000 per millimeter cube of blood. This is the TLC count. इसके बेसिस पे अपन इंक्रीमेंट और डिक्रीमेंट या फिर ज्यादा इंक्रीमेंट के बेसिस पे डिजीज डायग्नोज कर सकते हैं. एंड आफ्टर दैट the third part of the formed elements of the blood is what? The platelets. Platelets are also known as thrombocytes. These are not cells, these are cell fragments of megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes are the cells of bone marrow. Cell fragments से बने होती हैं platelets. These are used in clotting. Clotting is function performed by the use of platelets plus fibrinogen, जो कि प्लाज्मा प्रोटीन है, कैल्शियम प्लस क्लोटिंग फैक्टर्स डिसॉल्व होते हैं प्लाज्मा में। इन सब के कंबाइंड फंक्शन से क्लोटिंग परफॉर्म होती है। सो दिस इज द ब्लड। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग, and if you have any doubt related to this video, you can use comment box. Thanks.